Welcome to a new market update. As yesterday Bitcoin tried to break through the resistance, but we couldn't see it happening, unfortunately. So are we still accumulating? Are we in a bearish territory, or are we going to break out big time soon enough? That's what we're going to discuss here. And also, altcoins are slowly waking up, some of them at least. So we'll be seeing whether that's going to continue in the movements from here, or we're going to see some weakness on the altcoins in general. So let's get to the charts, and before we'll be doing that, do not forget to subscribe beneath and also like if you enjoy the content, and comment if you want to see some special content on here. So let's see. Bitcoin has tried to get above the resistance, but I just got a clean chart to show you that there's one critical level that we should be holding on to. And that's this entire block that we have here. We are constructing new higher highs, higher lows. So then you are looking into the critical area of Bitcoin that it has to hold in order to sustain momentum. But we've got some very important resistance zones above us. Those are the 100 and 200 MA at this stage, in which we can see that if you want to discuss the death cross, and usually it's the 50 MA and the 200 MA, yes, that's happening. But usually you will get a golden cross afterwards as well. But these will probably be a resistance for the coming period in this case, through which the assumption that Bitcoin is going to break upwards again is not likely at this stage. The more likely case is that we have continuation towards resistance, reject, and then have a period of further sideways movements in order to have those moving averages move together so you can get space to break back above them. At this stage, it doesn't seem likely that we're going to break above the moving averages in one go, and that they will become resistance in general here. Next to that, we also have some very heavy resistance zones above us still, meaning that the 42k zone, that's this entire resistance that we're not breaking through yet, between 40.5 and 41. We also have this 46 to 49k resistance zone that we're just not breaking through yet. Therefore, it seems very likely that we have this sideways range before we are breaking towards 48. If we do break the resistance zone at 41, I think we might be getting a short squeeze towards 48, and then we start to consolidate before we can continue moving further upwards. But then the chances of the bottom being in are getting more significant and stronger day by day, given the fact that we're just moving upwards slowly, given the fact that the stock to flow model has signaled that this is the best buy option of Bitcoin since the last 10 years. So yes, this is a good moment to start accumulating your Bitcoin, especially if governments are getting into Bitcoin as a legal tender. Especially if institutions are looking into Bitcoin at this stage, especially if someone like Paul Tudor Jones is going to accumulate Bitcoin for his own portfolio. So yes, we might be getting into a dip towards 37 to 35 again. That's the critical level that I want to see hold here. But that's still only a 10% drop. What's the upside? It's unlimited at this stage. So if we look at Bitcoin in general in the old scenario that I've been making here, it's still following through. We are still facing resistance zone. There's also the 42.5k level that we're still watching at this case. Preferably, I think we're going to have this corrective move towards 37.5 and further have sideways action, through which altcoins can have some strength. Altcoins can start waking up in general. And we've seen that MATIC is doing pretty nice once again. And we've stated and we've actually tweeted the levels on MATIC at this stage. So what can you see? After such a big impulse wave, usually you will come back to the previous levels of support to derive whether there is enough buyer's demand. And in this case, MATIC has seen such a heavy crash, immediate bounce back up of about 200%, corrected all the way back down towards such a similar level that's this area here. So this has to hold in general to sustain a further continuation momentum, but most likely, and you can see that after those impulse waves too, is we are getting a period of some sideways action before we can start pressing to the upside. So I'll just make it blue. Most likely you will get a breakdown towards this area around $1.25. before we start to continue the momentum, as then we are continuing the higher lows, higher highs structure, And once we break this resistance of MATIC, I think we're going to push further towards all-time highs. But it shows that also altcoins are waking up with Bitcoin at this stage. And yes, Ethereum and Cardano, they are losing some momentum in the Bitcoin pair, but they are still holding critical levels for support. So when we look at Ethereum against Bitcoin, it doesn't look great. But we're still, as we just discussed on MATIC, we're still holding a critical level of support. So are we going down further? Yes, there is a chance that we are reaching 0.5. So if we lose this blue zone, I think I'm going to be out of Ethereum and I'll be buying back around this range, because then we probably get a short squeeze of Bitcoin towards 48k. But what is going to happen after such a move of Bitcoin? Altcoins will follow suit. Why is that? Bitcoin has been making that substantial crash on Wednesday. We went to 28k. Altcoins started to drop down at the last part of that crash. They fell through because of panic. So what they changed on the fundamentals or the momentum of altcoins? Absolutely nothing. So once Bitcoin starts to consolidate, and the longer it will consolidate, the stronger the altcoins will start waking up even more. And some of them are doing that already. For instance, TOMO is doing really nice at this stage. You can see that we are breaking back above the 100-day and 200-day MAs for TOMO. And preferably we are going to make another higher low as suspected here. So the critical area that we are currently in need to hold is this recent low. That has to be holding on for TOMO at this stage. I don't think we'll go that far. I think we're going to be having a retest of 42. That's the area that I'll be looking at. But then TOMO is going to start its bull cycle. And more of those altcoins are looking like they want to have the strength on the bull cycle again. ALGO also in an entry point right now. So as a conclusion of this small update, if you're looking for altcoins to accumulate or you want to search for some entry points, this is the time. I'll be back later today or possibly tomorrow with a new fresh market update, so stay tuned.